I was just sitting at home and I was like, I can just see all the applications. Like, what if you come home and you need to like unwind and like your thing is to like do meditation or something like that, and you put this thing on and then you can be like, I don't know, in the middle of a forest or something.
Yeah, in the Himalayas or whatever.
Doing your thing. You're kind of like, it's like an escape almost.
From Toronto, PHANTA Media presents the Not So Corporate Podcast.
Hello. My name is Mark Drager. I'm the host of the Not So Corporate Podcast. I'm joined here in studio with Maneesh Malhotra.
Hello.
Hello. And Kyle Wilson.
Hello.
And that's it. There's no one else with us today because Leah is off taking care of her newly born child. And Roland is in location scouts, and Oscar is in production, and Louie is in post. Kyle is wearing a cardboard box on his head.
Fantastic.
What are you doing with a cardboard?
I'm looking at a Star Wars sequence.
So explain what this is. You have this box from Google. Like, do people know what this is? Do they know?
I think they do. Yeah, like this came out a while ago. We're kind of late to it, but I wanted to kind of get us to experience VR before we talked about it.
Yes.
And this was the cheapest, fastest way to do it.
So rather than worry about like an Oculus Rift or anything like that, you bought a box from Google known as google.com/cardboard. What is this thing called? Just the cardboard box?
It's called the Google Cardboard.
Yeah.
It's called the Cardboard.
Yeah.
Google Cardboard.
Gosh, Google Cardboard.
Google.
Did you know there's product safety information in here?
That's kind of funny. I can imagine because I got pretty dizzy last night using this.
So just to fill everyone in, if you haven't seen the title, we're going to talk about VR, and that stands for virtual reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll probably also spill over into augmented reality.
Yeah.
And from there, we'll probably spill over into 3D video, or is that all the same stuff?
No, I'd say just VR and augmented.
I sent you a really cool video. Oh, I didn't send it to you, actually. I posted on Facebook.
Oh, yeah,
if you check out our Facebook group, there's a really great video that came out on Tuesday from Vox about how Snapchat's algorithms allow you to do that facial recognition in real time.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Very, very cool stuff. But before we jump into the VR thing, I got to talk about this Google Cardboard thing. So basically, it's a box that you pay a lot of money to get some cardboard, and you put your own phone into it, and somehow it reminds me of those. Remember those things that you had as a kid?
Yeah.
Those plastic things where you put the disc in and you hit the button and it changes slides.
Yeah. It's a slideshow. It's basically the same. Feels like
I can't see anything, Kyle.
No, you got to put your phone in it.
Okay. Sorry, I was
But
looking into a box.
You need the YouTube app though.
Oh, you need an app.
Maneesh has it. He can show you.
Yeah, well, someone showed it to me yesterday. Was it Oscar was showing to me that he took me to Colombia, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this cardboard thing? So it's a box that you fold in. It's got little glasses, little like lenses that are in it, and just Google, like, if you don't know what we're talking about, Google Cardboard, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
And what does it allow you to do? It just allows you to turn a 3D video into a more immersive experience, or what?
Yeah, like there's all these VR videos on YouTube that are you can view on your desktop just using your mouse, but then they give you an option for Google Cardboard, and it kind of like splits your video into like 2 eyeballs worth, and then that little device makes it so you can actually view it properly.
Very cool. So we're going to get into a longer conversation in a minute. Before we do, I feel like it's important that we all understand the product safety information for Google Cardboard.
Yes,
so first, take frequent breaks when using cardboard.
Hell yeah! Like
I was so dizzy.
Every like 5 minutes, you got take breaks.
I almost fell over.
Ready? Here's number 2. If you experience nausea, discomfort, eye strain, or disorientation, immediately discontinue using cardboard.
I didn't stop.
That's all I felt.
I used it for like 10 minutes straight, and then Steph got home, and I was like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna throw up."
That is so funny. Cardboard is not for use by children without adult supervision.
What?
You know, this is written out of like California, right?
Yeah.
Like this is from what, Mountain View or something, where their lawyers they probably spent $10,000 drafting this.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Do not use cardboard while driving, walking.
Can you imagine?
No, you can't even walk in a straight line.
Or otherwise by being distracted from real world situations that prevent you from obeying traffic or safety laws. Wow, they're really worried about people hurting themselves here. Do not drive or operate heavy machinery immediately after using cardboard if you feel impaired or disoriented. And finally, if you have had or could be prone to seizures, consult a doctor before using cardboard. Can you imagine that conversation? You walk into your doctor's office and they're like, so what can I help you with? And you're like, listen, doc, I got something serious here I'm worried about. Can I use Google Cardboard?
Based on my
Definitely
seizures history.
That's
funny.
what it looks like.
Oh, very
Two
cool.
eyeballs.
Yeah, that's great for an audio medium. So
There you go. We'll post some pictures online.
Yeah.
Somehow.
no, we won't, because then I have to do it. Leah's not here to post it.
I'll take some screen caps.
Yeah, we just
It's not the screenshots. It's the posting. It takes so long to post. Not that I don't love posting for my audience, but anyway, let's get into the conversation right now. Okay, so Kyle, this was your episode. You produced it. You wanted to talk all about VR and AR and 3D, 360 video.
Yes.
I think it's a bit of a shtick. Why don't you jump into it then?
I was just gonna start off with our experience though first.
Yeah, sure.
I was gonna say my experience.
Well, rather than say what you were gonna say, why don't you just say it?
Well, okay, fine, I will. To date, my experience has been limited. I would say, I'm pretty late to this. I think we're all pretty late to this.
Yeah.
This has been going on. I don't know how long, Manny.
It's been around since Oculus became popular on Kickstarter. Is it?
So like a few years.
Yeah.
So here's the first thing. I don't like suggesting that we're late to anything in any way.
I'm not saying the company.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean there are early adopters, regular
Yes.
adopters,
Yes.
late
Yes.
adopters, and then grandparents. Right, so I think if you look at us compared to early adopters, we're late to it.
Yes.
But that's because I'm not an early adopter to anything. I don't like being the most expensive test pool people who go, this is the latest greatest thing that you waste a lot of time and money on just to find the next thing happening.
No,
and you know why? Because I was an early adopter to the mini disc, and I thought it was going to be the greatest technology ever.
It was.
It was.
I thought it was great.
Extremely short-lived, right?
Until MP3 came out.
Exactly. So I was like, the mini disc is going to be huge. It's better than a CD. It doesn't really skip, and it allows you to re-record and rewrite really, really fast. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh wait, 3 years later,
No. it's
iPod
gone.
ruined
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
So anyway, that's my personal bias against the stuff. You feel late to VR. Why?
I don't know. I just feel like it's been going on for a while, and this stuff has been happening for a while too. I just hadn't really touched
it's to the
it.
point where there's so much content available online.
Yeah, it was surprising how much is actually on YouTube, but there's people doing stuff with it. And I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, YouTube just started displaying this content, had the ability to show it a year ago. So VR has been around way longer than that. I mean, it's been around since the 80s in the most shittiest form.
Wasn't there a Nintendo? There was a Nintendo Virtual Boy.
Yeah. There was
From
all
the
those
80s.
experiments with virtual reality, but I don't think it really got anywhere till now. Now
Yeah.
it's become the mini disc. I think we're at the mini disc phase.
Yeah, we got to
Right.
figure out if it's going to get past the mini disc
Yeah.
phase.
That's the problem I have with it. Listen, guys, how many 3D videos have you made?
I have. Well, no. You're using the wrong term.
No. How many 3D videos have you made? Remember when
Technically,
in
I made one.
Remember in 2008 or 2009 when 3D was going to be huge and Panasonic sold 3D cameras and everyone was going to go to 3D and TV.
I
and
think they're still making
YouTube allowed you to decide whether your video footage was 3D or not.
Yes.
Right. So has that taken off?
No, it definitely has not.
No, we've kind of moved past it.
I think it's because
I think it was the
need a
barriers
monitor,
to entry.
right? Is it not that you need a 3D monitor to be able to see it?
You need 3D glasses or a 3D monitor. You need some kind of it's a shtick.
If you want to shoot it, you got to be able to shoot it.
You got to shoot in 3D.
And then
I'm not
to
talking
watch
about film.
it.
I'm not talking about cinema or
just
film.
in general.
I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about
I know what you mean.
when was the last time that you saw a really great I don't know, short film, a really great web
3D.
video, a really great Facebook video, a really great social media post, a corporate promotion. When have you seen anything
in 3D? No, never.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Only in movies. Only Up. Up is my favorite 3D movie.
Yeah.
I have to say Hansel and Gretel. What was that? Hansel and Gretel Vampire Hunters or something?
What?
There was like a 3D movie where, anyway, that was a good movie. They chopped some people's heads off in 3D.
I did not know that one.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah, anyway. So
I feel like this is a bit different because, well,
Because
Should I go off on this tangent?
Yeah, go.
I don't know. I feel like it's a bit different because there's just so many tools for like each stage. They've got the cameras.
Yeah.
I just found one today. Samsung has one that's going to cost like $500, kind of like the other one we tried out. That lets you shoot it, just like a GoPro. And then you got all the tools, like they either come with the camera or you can get Pro with like, Premiere and stuff. And then they have the viewing platform on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like all three things that are accessible too.
And all you need to do is buy a $20 box and put your phone in it.
Yeah, if you want to just be a consumer, it's true. Yeah, $20 and you can enjoy all you want. But who knows? Yeah.
No. It's not that I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent to it.
Until something happens.
Yeah, I think it's just not there yet. Like
does someone have to fire that first shot to say like, okay, this is a real thing?
Yeah. We need like a James Cameron to be like, okay, I'm going to take this technology and elevate it to like, something that's viewable that doesn't make you sick and almost pukey within like 5 minutes. That's the problem.
It's kind of like, that you can put a video on paper, right? They have not even like the screens you put into a paper. They have a technology that will allow you to produce ultra thin. It's not even LEDs, but just ultra thin screens that are printed onto paper.
Right.
But it's never taken off.
Well, I don't know how to say anything other than it's a shtick, right? Like if it's core, what's core? Storytelling.
Yes.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Connecting with people.
Yes.
And so when I think back as to the groundbreaking things that leveraged new technology in outstanding ways, it was always based on still great storytelling.
Right.
Right? And so people will say, well, this is a great tool that we can use for better storytelling.
Yeah.
But that's only if it elevates the story. If it doesn't elevate the story, then it's just something you're doing because it's cool.
Yeah, it's a shtick.
Yeah, I mean, so based on my experience watching that one short film and that documentary piece, it necessarily did not elevate the story, but it elevated the experience. So
it was like compelling.
Yeah, it was compelling. So I could like frame my own shots.
It's compelling because it's new.
Yeah,
yes.
No, but also because...
No, it's compelling because it's new. And when it's not new, it won't be compelling. Flash forward 5 years from now and rewatch that and you'll go, this is... So what?
Well, if the technology becomes better, then I would be like, oh, that was terrible. But otherwise, this is what I felt. Like, I felt like I could like frame my own shots. I could hear people behind me and then I turn around and see their reactions. And then I watched the same video again. And then the second time I saw it, I had a whole different experience because then I was watching it from another person's point of view.
Yeah, and when the first people watched a film for the first time of a train going by, they thought the train was going to come out of the screen and crush them all, and they ran screaming. The point is that new experiences are new and great, and this is a new technology which is new and great. I'm just trying to justify whether, I guess I'm being the devil's advocate, as you want to say. I'm being the grumpy old man.
Yeah.
It's okay. So it's okay. Like if you play now, let's think of another immersive experience, like playing video games, right? If you're playing a video game today versus 30 years ago, it's certainly more immersive. And the storylines are certainly better and everything is better. So I can see where this technology will be truly amazing. And I think augmented reality is amazing.
Right.
I'm just talking about 3D video or virtual reality video.
Yeah, it has to be
the passive experience.
It's you're trying to take something which is watching something happen and watch it slightly different. Yeah. You're not interacting with it. It's not truly immersive. That's where it feels a little bit like, what to me?
Well, I think that's why people like that's where I got all these articles from talking about that. They do realize that there's a struggle with trying to adapt storytelling for this medium. So they have to figure out different ways of approaching it. And the one that came up that was interesting was The Martian. The film, they created like a VR experience to go along with it, and it's sort of like a snippet of the story that was never in the movie to kind of give you like a little add-on story. And that's what this visual effects guy talked about, and production designer, what's his name, Robert Stromberg. He basically talked about how he had to really sit down and rethink how he would tell a story so that it would be interesting for VR. So it wouldn't just be like what you said, where you're just like, oh, that's interesting, that's new. And he really like dove into like how to produce the whole environment and like what you would actually do, and like realizing like you can't have cuts in it because it would be jarring, and sort of like planning out your entire experience. And it is just a video. It's not like a video game. It's just a passive experience where you're with the main character as he like lands on Mars and then walks around and does a few things. And people seem to like it. So, but that's, I guess, one experience. That's one example.
Yeah, so like we've done a lot in racing, like with racing cars.
Oh yeah,
and racing.
There's
so
NASCAR applications.
Right. So like, you know, the in-car is fantastic. If you had the ability to have a 360 in-car and a 360 on top of the car and be able to see any direction, it's very, very cool because you can capture every nuance in real time if you can go back to playback and say, hey, look at this angle, look at how close they are or whatnot. But the racing is exciting.
Right.
Or boring, depending on how you look at it. But the experience of what you're seeing is exciting. The angle in which the camera gives you is kind of cool. But it's not cool enough to me to think that. And this is the problem, that this is the thinking that gets people in trouble with apps. Or you know, I'm an app developer, or I'm developing a new software or SaaS or technology or whatever. There's a difference between being cool and being disruptive, between being oh, that's interesting and it's something I would like, and 2 years, you know, where's Periscope?
I know,
right?
I mean, I think it pushed the boundaries of how little you have to spend to do live broadcasting, but other than that,
it's done. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's a huge
people use it.
They use it.
I follow like a few comedians on Periscope.
You definitely have to like
so
work
annoying.
to use it. You have to work to use it.
All the pings I was getting was just so annoying. And the novelty wore off for me.
I guess
right. I got life. I got kids. I got wife. I got a mortgage. The novelty wore off.
It's not for people who have things to do. It isn't, because there's actually a comedian, Stephen Brody Stevens, and he periscopes his whole day. Like he's literally periscoping like 8 hours a day, and just like every 5 minutes is like something or the other. Like, who has the time to watch somebody live their life?
We all think that new stuff though is going to make it, and then so we fall in the trap of this is going to make it, and then when we don't, we go, well, it's worth a shot. But if we really looked at things, it's like there is an application for it, and in that application it makes sense, and everywhere else, I don't know.
I think you're right.
But Kyle, you're on the other side, man. You love this stuff. You're into Snapchat. You're into augmented reality. You're into all of it.
Kyle can see the future.
Yeah, I was just sitting at home and I was like, I can just see all the applications. Like, what if you come home and you need to like unwind, and like your thing is to like do meditation or something like that, and you put this thing on, and then you can be like, I don't know, in the middle of a forest or something,
in the Himalayas or whatever,
doing your thing. You're kind of like, it's like an escape almost. You just and like it's so easy to do because you've already got your phone. Like the approach of doing it with the cheap viewer and your phone, you just sort of going, I want to just zone out for 10 minutes. Just seems so compelling. But maybe not for everything. Like I watched an ad for Honda Civic and I was like, okay, it was exactly what you said. It was like cool, but I'm not gonna share it. It's just a guy singing about a Honda Civic. And you can go around the room and be like, oh cool, lots of Honda Civics.
I didn't even know it was an ad for Honda Civic. I'm like, what?
There was one for BMW, but it was the same thing. It's like a bunch of BMWs driving across salt flats and you're in the middle of the pack, so you can just be like,
you know what this is like to me? It's like when a number of years ago, maybe 2007 or 2008, BMW hired like a world famous director. I think it was like one of the James Bond directors to shoot like a 6-minute short film for branded content, and it went popular, and it was so crazy, and it was so good, and everybody loved it.
But they only loved John Woo. They hired.
No, it wasn't John. Was it John Woo?
They had like 4 or 5 directors, and John Woo did one.
Yeah.
So, but it was made a splash because it was cool. Right? I got to stop saying this over and over again. You guys got to come up with something else for me to argue about. Yep, it's cool. I looked at it and I went, wow, that's cool. Maybe my INTP personality is just not digging it.
Okay, well, if it was going to be bigger and catch on,
it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. You guys are going to play this back to me in like 2 years and be like, this is massive.
What kind of marketing? How could it be applied in a marketing sense? If you were to fast forward 5 years and it is a mainstream thing and everyone's like, yeah, okay, cool, it's like part of life, I'm just wondering, like, how would it be best be applied? Because it is still a tool, so it doesn't work in every situation. Like I went and downloaded a Star Wars app, and you could download all these little stories, and you just sort of like look around this planet, and this little robot comes out and tells you things, and you click on them because it's semi-interactive, but it's still a video. And then you get like an achievement card that says like brought to you by Verizon. So it's like,
and you felt like that was a good use of your time?
only to test this out. I don't think I would ever do that experience again. It was pretty cool because it's ILM, so like they did a good job of it. Like you felt like you were on this planet.
Do you remember DVDs?
Yes.
Do you guys remember DVDs?
Love
Do you
them.
remember when DVDs used to come out with when they first came out? There was director commentaries, which
Right.
are
Yes.
cool.
Yeah,
right? It gives you a new
yeah.
perspective.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right, and that lasted. Director's commentaries lasted right to the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Right,
And maybe even
right.
on Blu-rays, are there still director commentaries?
Yeah.
That's how they can
Yeah.
say that they have over like 12 hours of content because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
use the runtime of the commentary.
But it gives you a unique new perspective. So
Yeah.
it's
Right.
new content. It's great. Yeah. And then they had the behind the scenes films that really started right, like the special effects,
They
the
weren't always great,
wardrobe.
Yeah, making of.
The making of. They were hit or miss.
Yeah.
Do you remember early on your DVD players would have a button that would allow you to change multi-camera?
Yeah,
I know.
Would allow
it
you to have a
sucked.
different camera
Yeah.
position?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much was that used and how much was that continued?
No,
I
that
don't think
that was
that was
totally
a
a
very
waste
good
of
idea.
time. That was so terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is that any different than this?
There's just a different medium.
Not different than what it could be, because
Yeah.
DVDs progressed, Blu-rays
Yeah,
progressed.
yeah.
They went back to the core elements, which is sharing great movies,
Right.
and maybe a director's commentary, and not wasting time on all the other bullshit.
Well, I think it.
So 5 years from now, you ask
Yeah.
what we'll be doing. We'll be doing exactly what we're doing now.
Yeah.
We'll just have a slightly different perspective. But what we're doing now is just prostituting out and butchering a technology.
And I think you have to do that for the technology to advance. You have to find the holes and you have to find everything that's wrong with it.
I sound like such a grumpy man.
No, I'm trying to be like the opposite over here, and I'm trying to be like I think you have to like destroy it to make it something.
But
right?
that's what it's doing. Like when I was watching a bunch of them, I was like realizing this is like the train thing where people thought it would come out of the screen. It was like it was that before we had editing, you just had shots. So it's kind of like hitting the reset button a little bit. And now it's like, okay, try and make a story, but don't edit. Figure it out.
Except you can still today tell a better story through traditional methods. You can, we talked about, I don't know if we've shared this on the podcast, but we had a client talking about how to do 3D in car, like during a race. Like how would you, during an auto race, how would you handle 3D virtual reality? And ultimately we could do it. But what we determined was...
Oh, the 360, you mean?
Yeah, that's the 360.
Yeah.
What did I say, 3D?
Yeah.
Okay,
People
so
are going to get
360,
mad.
360. So placing 360 camera in car. And ultimately we could do it, but it's still a better experience to shoot multi-camera in car.
Yeah.
And run through like 5 or 6 different angles or 7 or 8 different angles and then edit it down in traditional editing and tell your story through traditional means is still going to give you a better end product than 360 video, which is just like, oh cool, I can look around while the person's driving.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it.
So it needs to be more engaging. You need to be able to direct it a bit more.
Yeah, but I think it's not. That's the thing. We're trying to compare it to like television or cinema. I think it's not going to be that. I think it's going to be a whole different thing.
It's like trying to fit it into a peg that it's not meant to fit in.
Yeah, like
or a
right now
hole.
we're trying to be like, how do we tell a movie? We would tell
With
like a
virtual
story.
reality, but
Yeah.
it's like you don't do that.
I don't think that's what it's going to end
That's
up
a good
being.
point.
I think it's going to be
Because that's why this Martian VR experience it was its whole thing. It's just on its own. They're like, obviously we can't tell The Martian in VR.
Yeah.
So like, let's create an experience using this technology.
See, what I think is way more exciting is the idea of like Google Glass or augmented
You like the
reality,
augmented-
where
yeah,
you
yeah.
look
Yeah.
out the window and you go, I wonder how fast those clouds are moving,
And they
then
tell
it
you.
calculates
Yeah.
Right.
to you whatever's happening with whatever. Like the ability for the augmentation of your experience,
Mm-hmm.
or again, VR with video games, I think is
That
Like-
makes sense to me. I
like-
don't think anyone's disputing that.
No, you have to do that. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
next step is, aside from like an AirEgg suit, which gives you haptic feedback, like
Shout out to Eric.
AirEgg, the client.
Hashtag.
Hashtag as real as it gets, AirEgg. Anyway, so other than like haptic feedback, it just
Yeah.
totally makes sense that you would like be able to
Oh yeah.
turn around
Yeah.
and stuff wouldn't
Microsoft's doing
happen.
that. I don't know if anyone knows about it or
Yeah.
not. That HoloLens
The
thing?
HoloLens, right?
That's what you're talking about.
Which is all augment. I mean, not for gaming.
It's just for life.
for
Like
real
it
life.
literally, like it kind of looks stupid now. I think because it's like a giant thing on you.
Like dumber than wearing a cardboard box around your head?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. No.
But it does that. It's like, tell me about the temperature of my house, and it's like, it kind of comes up in front of me.
And you could like literally put up like okay, I want a Mona Lisa in my living room.
You can do that.
Yeah, and you can just walk around your house.
It
with,
is
like,
interesting.
with the paint. And my experience of my home would be different than if you came over.
Okay, so that would be cool if you were like practical applications. Let's say that you were an architect and you
Right.
designed a 3D rendering
Yeah.
on a property, and you
Right.
wanna walk through with your client the floor space as to what
Right.
you're going to change. That would be cool until you walk into a wall or
Yeah,
you
that's
walk
the biggest
you walk
problem.
off of you walk off of the edge of a scaffold or something.
But then what happens if people are like, oh, augmented reality is the future, and then all we have is like pop-up ads in front of our faces when we're walking
ad
around.
blocker,
Yeah.
ad blocker of the future.
So this Vox
terrible.
video about the Snapchat thing did talk about the fact that Snapchat's pushing so hard for this augmented reality because it's the most natural way to work in advertising. And so you're using an app, and a brand is on your forehead as your whatever,
That's
versus
true. I did the Batman one. It was pretty cool.
I don't know what that means.
You would it was a Snapchat thing. Like you would,
And you just walk around saying, "I'm Batman."
yeah, it like puts a Batman filter on you, and then you have the costume on, and you can just move around and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
I think once we all
Still different, though.
driving like Google cars, and we don't really have to like drive
I drive a pickup truck.
a Google.
I do not
a Google
We're like
pickup
burning
truck.
through all of my bullet points here. We're already on challenges for VR.
I do not want to drive a Google car. Thank you.
No, but
I don't want to drive one. I want to
I
drive
don't wanna-
myself.
I do not want to be mandated where I'm not allowed to own a vehicle, where I have to call one via my phone and they come and pick me up on these closed public roads and they drive me around. I do not want that world. I want my truck.
But see how productive you would be, because
No.
you could just sit down in your car or
I
whichever.
love
to accept
I
the
love
socialist
driving.
society.
I love driving.
I hate driving. So I would love a Google car.
Yeah.
Or like a Google bus or a Google bike.
We'll
then-
sleep in the back.
Well, then you can live in Google Town, and Fanta's head office will be in Freedom Land, where I can drive my truck.
I mean, I think we'll be, I don't know, already we are inundated with like ads online anyway, but it doesn't really, you just tune it out, right?
Yeah, you do.
So we've
It's all
talked.
broken.
So we've talked about doing our podcast in 360 video.
Yes.
That makes sense to me, and it makes sense to me mostly because our podcast is us sitting around
Yeah.
and talking.
Yeah.
Right.
And so if you were able to provide behind this, like how radio stations have those
The feeds.
Yeah,
feeds where
yeah.
you can see into the studio
Yeah.
with a single camera.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
If you can see in live in real time into the Studio 360, they could have a single camera and then you could just pan around as you want.
Yeah.
I feel like that makes that's a perfect application for it.
Right.
Right.
Because it's actually allowing you perspective and control over perspective without the need to have someone multi-cut.
Right.
But if you then said, well, let's just do an Oprah TV show where you drop the camera there, or Dr. Phil, and then you could pick whether you see him or the guests, I would say that makes no sense. You need multi-camera, you need editing, you need editorial decisions,
Right.
you need all of those things. Why are you trying to force this weird 360 thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
onto
get that.
someone?
I don't get that either. I mean, Conan did a whole week of 360.
Did he really?
Yeah, it's on
Oh.
YouTube, and you can
Conan-
see his whole
Conan
audience.
O'Brien?
Oh, Conan
That's
O'Brien.
weird.
And you can see like the audience. I'm
Not
like,
having fun and stuff.
Yeah.
Why am I looking at the audience? I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't really need to see this.
Right, but in that case, wouldn't it it's like in live television where you're watching the crowd, they cut to the crowd and they're going nuts.
Yeah,
And then you cut to the one dude who doesn't realize he's on camera, just not having fun talking to something, and it like brings your mood down. And you're like, I wonder
Yeah.
why that guy's not having fun. And then they cut away really quick because the director realizes that
Yeah.
they're filming the wrong person. that's what like watching Conan's and I want to see only cut to them when they're happy and clapping.
But that's what I'm saying. The people
don't cut to people yawning.
They're trying to take something that's like a traditional late night format and trying to put this VR technology.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Like it has to be something else. It has to be a different experience. It has to be something immersive and maybe
immersive is a
interactive
key
or
word.
something.
So Kyle, you asked the question, what are we doing in 5 years?
Yeah.
How is what we're doing in 5 years with 3D or sorry, not 3D, 360 any different than what we're doing today with our iPhones versus what we were doing 5 years ago with phones?
How is it going to change in 5 years, you think?
No, so let's do one of those like 5 years from now with 360 is the same as us today with an iPhone 6S versus 5 years ago with an iPhone.
Right. So you're saying like the changes in it will be like very
it's
minute?
Totally not minute. I mean, I think in the last 5 years, 2011,
I guess I
had a BlackBerry.
Far. Yeah.
And now I have this phone that allows my wife is doing more photos, we're doing more video, we can do slow motion, we can do panoramic. It's I don't look at this phone though, the 6S, and go like, what an amazing piece of technology. I just look at it and go, okay, cool. It's my phone and I use it and it's amazing. Don't you think 5 years from now, 360 will be like, oh, cool, it's a part of our lives, we use it, it's amazing.
Oh,
it's
yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think, like, just based on that Ricoh Theta thing that I got for a little while, I bet you give it 5 years, or I don't know how long it's going to take, but you're just going to have those two cameras in your phone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to have the front one, the back one, and you're going to be able to do, like, iPhone 360 video, no problem.
For sure.
It will become very commonplace.
Was that study that you sent out that is going to be in 2025?
The estimated market
is going to be
$80 billion.
$80 billion industry.
What, 360?
Yeah. It was Goldman Sachs. What were they basing it on? Let me see here. On hardware and software sales. They're just projecting $80 billion industry.
What about content creation? That's what we're interested in.
Well, I guess you could lump that in with software, but they're saying $45 billion for hardware, $35 billion for software by 2025.
What do you think, Mark?
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I have no faith in our future.
What?
Oh.
That's not a good thing.
No, I don't know how anyone can look to the future with anything other than
with certainty.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't just look to the future and say, well, when we get there, I'll handle it.
Yeah.
Right.
I know I can anticipate what the next year or two may look like.
Right. Yeah,
but I don't know, guys. Like, do you feel like I like control? I don't have any control over the future.
Well, no,
I'm not saying you have to curl up into a ball and start crying or anything, but who knows? Who knows?
No, who knows the right attitude?
I guess just being open to it, and like if you identify an opportunity where it would make sense to use it, then consider it. That way, they don't pass you by, and maybe you could create something cool.
So it passes you by, whatever.
Well, I don't know. It's an opportunity to stand out. I think if you can do it, execute it well, whatever that may be. That application.
Here's what I know. Here's what I know, right? People have challenges. They have personal challenges. They have business challenges.
Yeah.
They have needs. Though that will never go away, and that will never be cured by technology or by mediums. And so our place in it is always to help people overcome those challenges.
Yeah.
Through whatever medium it needs to be.
Yeah.
But people do not pay to have their problem solved.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And this is not solving a single problem.
It's a tool that can be used in a certain situation.
Mr. MBA.
to solve a problem.
Mr. MBA, okay. This is not solving a single problem.
We had to figure out what the problem is and then solve.
Great.
It's a technology looking for a problem.
Let's make up a new problem.
Let's reverse engineer something.
Yeah.
Think about it, right? Like tell me what problem this is solving
Well, I mean, I could say that about video too.
No, how so?
Video doesn't solve anyone's problem. It's just a communication medium.
method. It's a communication method that allows people to combine visuals with audio.
Right, but in some cases that's not valued by an organization.
And then they shouldn't do it.
Yeah. So
right?
in that sense,
but
it's still a tool.
our role as marketers, as communicators, as video producers, as graphics people, whatever it is you're doing,
You're just presenting visual mediums with information.
That's
all it is.
You're communicating. You're leveraging a communication channel to help a business or a person achieve something or overcome their challenge. So if you're creating educational content, you're leveraging a visual and audio medium to help inform people or educate them. If you're marketing, you're building an atmosphere or a brand, or you're helping with lead generation, or you're helping whatever it may be. You are helping, if it's for personal use or business use, you're helping someone achieve a certain goal that they have. And so this may have entertainment value.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that entertainment value, as far as we can see it, is only based on the fact that it's new.
Well, I guess if you needed to communicate a place or the essence of a place, it would be valuable then.
So what movie was it where the dude could not let his adrenaline
Crank.
Yeah. This would be good for Crank.
Was Crank the movie? I know it was an independent movie. I know it was made by Radical Media. Love that agency.
Mm-hmm.
But was that the movie where they used GoPros for the first time in a way where they would, like, as cars were going by, they throw them under cars, and they use them as throwaway cameras where they literally just would beat the crap out of them. So in a fight scene, if someone fell down, they would take a GoPro and they would literally, like, throw it. Like, they did not care. They were so cheap. They would offer such unique perspectives that they threw them all over the place to make hyper cutting and get footage really cheap, and they didn't worry about it. I think it was Crank. If it wasn't Crank, it was another movie at the time.
Yeah.
Super, super cool. The guy leveraged new tech, or whoever directed it leveraged new technology to provide a unique perspective, and we can't name the movie.
No, because now everyone does it.
Everyone does GoPro.
Yeah,
though.
and everyone is putting like Canon
It's a
70s
commodity
in cars
now.
and crashing them.
Right.
That's just how the industry has become, because they're so cheap, the cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
So it's another tool.
It's cool. It's not core,
It's not cool.
right? Core is storytelling.
Right.
Core is, if we're talking about films, it's unique perspectives, unique stories, unique characters,
But
shared in a relevant way.
But a car chase sequence shot in that cool way is a better experience for. I mean, you can still you can still do like with stunt cars and with stunt actors, and you can do a whole car chase scene. But when I watch it with the GoPros falling all over the place and blowing up and stuff, I mean, I feel I'm more immersed in the experience.
Yeah, like I would rather watch something knowing that it was practical effects that aren't quite as spectacular than CG effects, which are more spectacular. I'm more amazed and impressed with things that I know are practically done.
Right.
But that's not the point. The point is still that you still need great storytelling.
Yeah, nobody. I don't think anyone is denying the storytelling part. I think
No one is.
For VR to actually like work, it has to like have exceptional storytelling, because at some point it's like you can't even direct people's attention to like what the hell is going on. Like I was watching.
You just have to be in the scene.
Yeah, you just have to be there, and I'm like, where am I supposed to be looking right now? Who's speaking? Like I couldn't really pay attention.
You almost need a theatrical approach.
Yeah,
where it's all kind of live.
Through cues?
Well, no.
Hey, you! Yes, you! I'm talking to you!
I mean, maybe like
I'm over here! Look at me now! What if it could anticipate which direction you're looking, and then you could pre-program or pre-plan for different streams of content, depending on where the camera's looking?
Yeah, you could. But you can also direct the person's field of view.
Yeah, someone runs by or something. But no, think about this, though. Think about the fact that it would know which direction you're looking based on the 360 experience.
Right. And then it can
and depending on where you're looking, it would, in real time, provide different opportunities to tweak the content that you pre-record.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
To help direct you the right direction.
Yeah.
So if you're looking the right way, it would not go on past a story point until you start to look the correct way.
Right. Yeah, that would make sense.
I think that's what they've done with this Google, because I was messing around with the Google Cardboard app, and it was sort of like that. You kind of looked in a certain direction. Even though you're watching a video, you look in a certain direction, and then if your little pointer goes over a hotspot, then it goes and progresses. So it's kind of like what you just said.
Yeah, and you can pause it and look around. So I could be in a scene, and I can pause, and I can turn my head, and then be like, press play again, and see someone else
and
speak.
then keep going.
You can do that kind of stuff.
But again, it's all just novelty.
Yeah, right now it's all
Until you have a good story.
Right now it's just
which
novelty.
I'm not disagreeing with. That's why I found the article so interesting. That people have to figure out how to tell a story.
That ad campaign that we saw with the Toms, right? They were selling the Toms.
Yes.
They took you to Colombia and showed you how kids are being given shoes. I really felt like some emotional connection when I could look down.
Yeah,
and
that was very effective.
See the kid wearing the shoes. Like, for some reason, that just made sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was a UN documentary I watched too, and it was like, I'm in Syria and I'm in this shitty, like, mobile refugee camp thing, and I can see how these people live, and it's like, whoa.
Right, but you only gave it the time to watch it because you were enamored with the new technology.
Right.
Because you could have been dropped in that place with regular video. And if you were willing to give it the time to go, whoa, look it around, they could have taken you on that journey. But you wouldn't have given them the time because you would have said, oh, this is boring. But because it's 360, you gave them the time to actually immerse yourself.
I wasn't.
The Columbia thing that you guys looked at, I looked at it, I looked around, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it was like 10 seconds, I'm done. Thank you.
But like
that bird documentary you sent me was so boring.
That was just interesting to see what they're using the technology for, to see what people are thinking about in terms of storytelling.
The graphic one that got sent out, though, about the, what was it, the problem with ISIS? Is that what the 360 video was?
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah.
Maneesh sent out another one, I think it was. Was it you?
I don't know if it was me.
Oh, that was After Effects, mostly.
Yeah, that was mostly, yeah.
I thought that was really interesting and really unique, the way that they were leveraging 360 video to build this atmosphere that they took you through.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's why you had to watch like some of these short films, because they actually used some of it well. Not the Columbia one, but
the one that you just said was awesome.
No, just that one moment when I could like look down and see the kids wearing the shoes.
But that's a universal moment. I can recall 2 or 3 other moments that I've seen of people in those types of environments that have lasted with me. But it's the people.
Yeah, it was the people. Like when this kid is like, "Oh, I live in this small house," and I look around his whole room, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a very shitty house." But not only because I could see what was being framed, but I could see his whole house. I could see where he put his socks and his shoes.
Realtors are gonna love this, right? So much better than that 360.
I like it.
the slideshow.
That stupid thing that they take you around. Yeah.
It's also hard to kind of gauge what people will like, because I think we're a little too close to the industry to be saying what people will and will not like. Like we can all say, "Oh, it's not that great," but like you can't speak for the average person. That's what's hard.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I mean, like YouTube, everyone likes it because it's just what it is, right? Like,
yeah,
it's a way of telling us watching content, but like this has to become that for people. Like it just, if people watch content on VR, it just has to be, only then will it be useful.
Right.
Otherwise, it's gonna be like, even like 3D is like a novelty right now. You can only watch it in theaters when it makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, ugh.
I guess in 360 is different that way, because you don't really need this box. You could just watch it on Facebook or YouTube with a little mouse cursor thing.
Yeah, you just move your phone around.
But then how are you supposed to feel nausea then? Because that's my biggest problem with this.
This guy figured out why you're nauseous. It's the horizon lines, apparently. If you don't correctly create your horizon lines, especially when you're making fake environments, you'll make people nauseous. And he fixed it, and he did all these tests, and people 30 minutes later when they were doing this Martian thing, people were not puking. So that's good.
Really?
That's good.
I was getting headaches
I love the idea of associating a brand with nausea and sickness.
Yes.
Isn't that great?
It's perfect.
Yeah, like the Oculus Rift is famous on YouTube for that reason. People wear it and like are like going down roller coasters and like almost like passing out.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you wearing it then? There's like 100 videos.
I guess we could say we're in the late stage early adopter phase. That's where we're at.
Late stage early adopter.
Yes. I saw a giant chart with all the stages.
Yeah, you know what? There's some cool people doing cool things. I will give them that. I just, I guess maybe I just feel like what I'm seeing people talk about in our space, or what I'm seeing that we could maybe apply it to, it's just feels inauthentic to me. It feels like we would be doing it for the wrong reasons. We wouldn't be doing it to aid the brand, aid the experience, aid the story. We would only be doing it because it's cool and that doesn't feel like a good enough reason to me.
So it needs a compelling application.
Yeah, right now it's not there yet, for sure. Even the tech is not there. Even the resolution looks like shitty.
On Facebook, it became a big thing about a year ago. What's it called? The pictograph, pixelgraph. You know those still frames where it's a still frame, but then one element of the image is animated on repeat.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this. Yeah. There's this technology that allows you to take a still photo and then have one element of the photo move and repeat.
Right.
And so, think of a still photo of a cat where it's completely still. Everything is still except for the tail is just moving a little bit. Just swishing.
That's really stupid.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is a big thing. It's well leveraged in fashion. It's leveraged in Facebook advertising a lot.
Yeah.
It's well used. When it was originally created, though, it was created. There was this great campaign in the New York subway where it was a digital billboard that was a complete still, but every time a train went by, the model's hair would blow to the wind of the train, and it was like, wow, that's really cool. And then models start using it, and then they start using it in fashion advertising because you can basically have a model standing still, but maybe they're just blinking, or maybe they're just kind of like moving slightly.
That seems like a live photo.
It's kind of like that, but then what happens is people start taking it and they start applying it to all kinds of things that make no sense or that are awkward or that are weird.
Yeah.
And they're only doing it because someone came to them and said, "This is the cool thing people are doing."
Yeah.
Hey, dental office, insurance company, bank, hey, tool manufacturer, you need to use this because this is what people are using. And it's just wrong. That's to me what I do not want people to do with. That's what I'm trying to get people not to do with this, with 3D video.
Yeah,
just because you could do it doesn't mean you should be showing up to clients and saying this is the coolest new thing.
No,
you need to be doing.
Only
this.
certain clients would make sense for sure.
So which ones?
I think you identify them when they once you've done your
like we talked about this. Like we have a client that is a travel company. They're a hotel chain. They're an airline. They're pretty big travel company. And what we talked about though is you said, wouldn't it be great to go to a beach and show a 360 video?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, but what are you selling when you sell a beach shot? You're selling the hopes of what the beach could be.
Yes.
Not necessarily what the beach really is.
Well, I don't understand why it would be a could be situation if I went to a place that they own and shot video there. Because
when you're trying to entice someone to make an emotional decision, you want them to imagine what could be.
But then why would Disney show happy families at their parks?
Have you
with a montage? Have you music?
Have you been to a Disney? So
no.
There's a perfect example. So if you were to sell Disney, where they're the food is so good. Oh, this balcony is amazing on the cruise. Oh my goodness, I get to dance with Mickey. Oh, I get to go on this ride. And then you go but you wouldn't want the shimmer of the heat and everyone perspiring in line and the lineup that isn't actually a lineup and the food trays that are half full and the Mickey who smells a little funky and the pool that is overcrowded you can't get in and all of that other stuff. What you want is the Magic Kingdom with the princess on the balcony with only your couple there.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but if you knew...
So you're selling that.
But you're selling the sizzle. You're not selling the steak, right? You're selling what could be, what Disney could be, not what Disney really is.
Well, no, the 360 video would be that. It would be the sizzle. It would be.
How would you clear out and turn all of that stuff into, because the beauty of the lens is an inch off either side of your frame could be anything. It could be five sweaty guys holding cards to make sure that the light is perfect for your frame, but they're off frame, right? But so now when you're 360,
it's a different approach. It would be like taking that Corona ad and doing 360. You got to figure out.
You couldn't do the Corona ad in 360 because the Corona ads, the beauty of them are the simplicity of what you're focusing on, the simplicity of nothingness. And when you pull back to reveal the people sitting there with just the Corona, you cannot create that overly simple environment in 360.
I don't know why you couldn't. You just put a camera there.
But why would you?
wouldn't see
And
the
you
people's
couldn't.
faces.
No, but
But the blue wouldn't be as blue, and the beach wouldn't be as beachy. And
Why not?
how are you going to go in and retouch all that stuff?
You just do it. You can still manipulate it.
Yeah, you can manipulate it.
It's not like I'm going to give you like a super raw experience. It's like completely unedited.
You're gonna give me like 10 nudist German people sitting on the beach when what I really want is a bikini model sipping a Corona.
You think I'm gonna give you like the raw reality with 360? It's you can still.
You still have to dress it up.
How do you dress? How do you in a real life? How do you set deck? How do you dress a 360 set?
You
and
paint
have
it
full
all out.
control of it.
Yeah, everything has
You
to
just
be.
paint it out.
Yeah, everything has to be.
That's what
beautiful.
everyone does. They just paint out the stuff they don't want to see.
It was, it's so hard for us to shoot in live environments.
Yeah, I know.
I just can't imagine. It's hard enough to get your angle
Little
in
field of
wherever
view.
you're at.
Yeah.
Picture any location, but go to a public park
Right.
and then say like, oh, I can't. On the horizon, I want someone flying a kite. Down here, I want a couple to go by riding a bike.
Yeah.
Hopefully there are ducks here and this and that.
You
and then
shoot them on
But,
green screen.
okay,
and
so
you
here's
freeze
a question then.
Yeah, that's what they did.
that is so inauthentic.
I know, but it has to feel authentic. That's all
You have to shoot them on green screen and comp them in post.
Yeah, why not?
That's what they did in the subway
People
story.
don't.
Yeah,
Young people don't care anymore. Like authentic to them is not what we think is authentic. That's the problem. So I think consumer preferences are going to change. And then here's a question: what happens if the effectiveness of what we consider to be video, like authentic storytelling today, starts to dip? Like, what if across the board you start seeing this dip in engagement, I guess, with video, traditional video? Then what?
We've already seen that.
Okay, so what's the answer then? More compelling storytelling, or is it that people are shifting towards other mediums, like,
Snapchat.
yeah, like what if everyone's like, yeah, maybe YouTube's going down the tube and people are like not engaging with Facebook videos because they're just like, another happy feel good ad, whatever, and they are going towards
Are you
more
talking
like
about from a content point of view or
Yeah.
from a marketing point of view? Because there's two different things, right? Like, people didn't stop watching television content. They stopped watching cable television.
cable television. They stopped watching. Yeah.
People consume more content than ever before.
Right.
The average, this is a few years old, but even in like 2011, the average video length was like 4.5 minutes of watch time. People are not afraid of watching long content if it's relevant and interesting to them.
Mm-hmm.
What's shifting is an advertiser's ability to get in front of people, to force mass marketing. What
really
we call
working.
TVA.
Yeah,
right? It's that's the shift.
It's fragmenting.
But whether no matter what, people will always be willing to watch a video.
Yeah.
They'll always be willing to look at a photograph.
Mm-hmm.
They're always willing to read the first few lines of copy of something
Right.
if it's relevant to their experience.
Right. As long as
So
it's relevant.
if I want to buy a new car, I am willing to search out for content on cars.
Right.
If I don't want to buy a new car, I do not want to see a car commercial.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's the reality we work in. Now, the old days, it used to be I want to show everyone a car commercial in the hopes that when they're ready to buy a new car, they'll consider us.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not
Not working.
how things work.
No.
So I'm not afraid of video disappearing, and I'm not afraid of everything moving to Snapchat or everything moving from 2 minutes to 15 seconds or from moving from one, $60,000 video to 100 videos leveraging the same $60,000 budget. That, content is changing. We're changing as an organization. I recommend that anyone who's listening also continues to consider changing. Keep changing. There was a great marketing magazine article out on Tuesday that I shared with you guys about just what ad agencies are facing in terms of the shift.
Right.
The fact that Deloitte purchased, this hot agency out of California, and why would a large consulting firm purchase an agency, a creative agency? It's because, consulting firms realize the need to become more creative. At the same time, all of the agencies are rushing forward to try and become more consultative based.
Right.
Shit's happening. We have no idea what the future is going to be.
No, not in that department. Because it's changing so quick too. Like the everybody jumping on whatever's new and was like relevant. It changes like every.
The thing is, consumers want what's new.
Yeah.
Consumers want the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
Right.
Companies.
Don't
The
want that.
vast majority of companies do not do that or want to do that.
Yeah.
And so do we need to cater to the consumers who want the latest and greatest, or do we need to be wherever our clients are at?
Oh, as marketers, you just got to make the clients happy. They have to figure out what they want to do.
You got to
for
go
their
where the
customers.
eyeballs are, I feel. Like wherever there's eyeballs, you know, if it's Nike, they're going to advertise on Snapchat today. Tomorrow they might just jump over to something else, the new thing.
Right, but the vast majority of companies, even if you're huge, but let's ignore the Googles and the Nikes and the Adidas and the Under Armours and all of those,
Right.
Wendy's, Burger King, whatever.
Yeah,
Let's exclude these huge international companies who have huge agencies.
Right.
Let's ignore them. Let's look at the companies that most of us actually work with.
Yeah.
They make decisions today for something that will be in market in 6 months.
Right.
What they're looking at today is usually impacted by someone else, something that's been in market for 6 months to a year already. Right? So they are influenced by content that they see, that they already see in market. Oh, I love what these people did. I love what those people did.
Right.
Those things have been in market for 6 months or 3 months or a year. Those were made based on decisions by 6 months earlier by other people who were impacted by other stuff. So there's this iterative, is that the word? Iterative?
Yeah.
Whatever. There's this updating where all of the decisions we make will impact other people's decisions in the future.
Right.
But most people are comfortable looking at content that is 6 months to a year old and saying, I like that, which was based on decisions that were made 6 months before that. So the content we're putting out in 6 months is based off really creative ideas that are 2 years old. And so
in 2 years we can use this.
There you go. That is probably the truth.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing.
As long as
It's
it has
like
data.
you can have clients or organizations that really want the latest and greatest thing.
Yeah.
We had one. We worked with a large medical company.
They want what they want.
Where the general manager was really into just like really pushing the boundaries.
Right.
And then he left. And then, like the organization,
Just rocking the boat too much.
what if you have a
Canada.
client? What if you have a client who? Speaking of Canada, it's Canada Day on Friday, guys.
Yes.
Hey, happy Canada
to
Day.
all of our American
Conservative
friends, I'd like to wish you guys a happy Canada Day, July 1st, and I suppose a happy Independence Day on July 4th. But more importantly,
the Canada Day.
Friday, July the 1st is Canada Day.
Yeah. Perfect opportunity to do an ad using 360 VR.
360.
Wait,
You
I'm
can
gonna-
experience fireworks.
I'm going to go to Woodbine Beach. No, wait. I'm going to go down to like the Toronto Island and put my 360 camera and record
Done.
the fireworks.
You know what's more unique than that? That dude a year or two ago who flew his drones. He flew his drone through the fireworks at like
No way, I
that
didn't-
seems
Washington
like a
or something.
bad
That was
idea.
the footage was spectacular.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you should look at that. That's way cooler
See,
than
that's what I'm
You
saying.
can do. I didn't realize this, but you can do aerial 360.
Yeah.
if you put it on a drone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they have the new drones are all 360.
Yeah.
All the
I
new
didn't even
ones.
know you could do that. It's happening so fast. I can't even.
You know what's way better technology than this? Those cameras that shoot
I think that's really cool.
shoot infinite
Yeah.
focal length and infinite, well,
Yeah.
not infinite focal length, but
Yeah.
they shoot.
I don't
they
know
shoot
what it
all
is.
the focal
Yeah.
length and
Right.
all the dynamic range and full frame.
Litro.
And then you can
In
in post choose the frame size, the lighting conditions, and
Yeah.
and the depth of field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, to me, that is so mind blowing and exciting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's so much better than 360.
But there's a problem because it uses so much data.
Yeah.
So it's hard to
Okay,
use it.
That's fine. Forget that. That is so much cooler. That is so much cool. Hey, you sent that video out about the car, about the black box car where you could skin any vehicle model on it that you wanted to and stuff.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool. But did you notice in the footage how fake it looks? You know, like they would do shots of they were careful with the shots, but
Yeah.
even they would do shots
So
of
like the
of this
skinning and the
car.
lighting.
No, they would do shots of like the car doing like a skid and stuff,
Yeah.
and you could see the body floating. Like if you look closely, you can see the wheel wells. you could see that the body was digitally kind of like floating artificially and stuff.
Maybe you were looking at the animatic phase of it, like the pre-render.
The pre-comp?
Yeah, pre-renders. Yeah.
A lot of time cars are fake in the ads anyway.
Oh, they're all fake. There's no real car ads being made today. There's nobody doing that. It's all fake, and they look like so crazy. Like if visual effects, like a few years ago, not a few years, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, people were like, "Oh, it's such a fad. Nobody cares about visual effects." Now you can't even tell the difference. Like I can't tell like most of the things that have been done in the scene, and I work in visual effects, so it's so like some of it is like incredible. So it's possible for technology to advance to the level, I feel.
Okay, so let's re-listen to this in a few years when I'm like, yeah, well, I was right at the time, but I guess I'm wrong. Big
No,
picture.
you are right.
I think Doritos Inferno ad is a perfect example of what you're talking about. You can watch it later, but it's like, okay, you want to show us a clip of a volcano to advertise Doritos Inferno, and you're just like looking at this volcano, and you're like, "What am I doing here?"
It's in the name, Inferno.
You want to know the best Doritos campaign ever? Obviously,
chili
was the Crash the Super Bowl, right?
What?
Crash the Super Bowl?
What did they do? They crash it?
No, that was the campaign that they ran for many years, where they allow people to submit their own Doritos commercial, and then people can vote on it, and then if it got aired, you won $1 million cash. So it was like
that's cool.
It was $1 million cash prize, but they ran it for a bunch. I don't know if they still do it. They ran it for a bunch of years because one, they could crowdsource all of the content,
right?
But there was all the social media aspect to having people produce content and upload it and vote on it.
Yeah.
They got a Super Bowl spot for $1 million, which is a pretty good budget at the time, and it was win-win for everybody.
Yeah,
it was great.
That was a really good ad. Yeah,
it was a great campaign.
Yeah.
I think it was done by Zig.
Zig.
It used to be an agency in Toronto run by Andy McCauley.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, who then went off. He's now at Rethink, which is a great agency. Anyway, maybe we'll do a podcast on agencies that we like.
I'm sure you mentioned like 6 of them just this podcast.
Very cool. So that was our conversation on virtual reality. Mostly me just being grumpy and probably talking too much. But anyway, with all that said, Manny, I want to thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yet again. Kyle, thank you for producing this episode.
Thank you. It was lots of fun.
And if you have thoughts, listeners, if you have thoughts, feedback, comments, questions, anything, drop us an email, feedback@notsocorporatepodcast.com. Alternatively, you can reach us on Twitter @PHANTA Media. Thank you so much for listening. I'm really trying not to talk so much. I know people are like, wow, this guy talks so much.
No one says that. No, it's only Mark.
We're getting feedback. Anyway, I'm going to try to work on being a host that doesn't talk so much in the future. But next week, we have a very special episode. We're not quite sure what it is, but stay tuned. You'll hear about it then. Thanks so much, guys.